I will call this Tickety-Boo news, though it's interesting news. Tickety-Boo news. I want to look at two stories that explain why I'm opposed to silencing hate speech. Why I'm opposed to silencing hate speech. Every time something happens like the shootings in Pittsburgh, the left immediately, oh my golly, the anti-Semitic speech. And then, of course, it devolves into, oh, well, you criticize Bill Kristol and he's Jewish, so you're an anti-Semite. And that's the way they argue. I love that. You know, you criticize somebody whose grandmother was Jewish and therefore you contributed to the violence in Pittsburgh. Obviously, all garbage, all garbage. But I don't even believe in silencing the speech of true, evil, hateful people. And I believe they should be allowed online. They should talk to each other, knock themselves out. I do believe, like I said yesterday, we should have ways to get rid of the people who are insane among them. But still, I believe that hate speech should be included. Here are two stories that explain why. Pakistan's highest court has freed a Christian mother who was sentenced to death under the country's harsh blasphemy laws. This has sparked protests and violent threats from Muslim hardliners. After the ruling, demonstrators called for the killing of the judges in the case, the toppling of the government, and a revolt against the country's powerful army chief. It was Asia Bibi, a farmhand, has been jailed since 2009 when an argument she had led to blasphemy charges being made against her. She was a Christian. I think she's a Catholic. I can't remember. But anyway, the court said this is ridiculous. Everything, it's all flimsy. They described it as a feast of falsehood, the charges against her. You get in an argument with somebody, you accuse her of blasphemy, she's sentenced to death. Luckily, this woman has been set free. I don't know how much violence there'll be in response to it. Meanwhile, as they make the right decision in Pakistan, the European Court of Human Rights sticks its boot up its own behind and says an Austrian woman's conviction for calling the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, a pedophile, did not breach her freedom of speech. That you are not allowed to. Now, of course, this is a complex issue for many reasons because their own documents, not in the Quran, it's the Hadiths, I think, says that he had a 6-year-old bride, Muhammad had a 6-year-old bride, and consummated that relationship when she was 9. So he was a pedophile. If that's true, that's pedophilia. So that is a true thing. So she was making a statement that was supported by their own documents, but she has the right to say anything about the Prophet Muhammad she wants, anything. The Strasbourg-based ECHR, the European Court of Human Rights, ruled Thursday that Austrian courts had carefully balanced her right to freedom of expression with the right of others to have their religious feelings protected. There is no such right. That is not a right. If you have a right to have your feelings protected about anything, then free speech doesn't exist. You have no right to have your feelings protected. Freedom requires a bit of leathery skin. Requires a bit of leathery skin. And that's why once you start prohibiting hate speech, the question becomes who decides. Is it the Muslims who don't want blasphemy? Is it the Democrats who don't want conservatism and are perfectly willing to ban speech, criticizing them or supporting the Constitution? They're perfectly willing to say that Trump calling himself a nationalist really means white nationalist. You know what a dog whistle is? They keep calling it a dog whistle. A dog whistle is anything a conservative says that a leftist can construe as hateful, which is anything that a conservative says. So that dog whistle is a nonsense term. It's a nonsense term. We do not ban hate speech because we do not ban speech. You have no right to have your feelings protected. We ban violence. We ban and we condemn. We condemn hatred. We condemn it everywhere. We condemn it against Muslims. We condemn it against Jews, against Christians, all of it. We condemn it. I reject it. It's disgusting. But you cannot ban it. The government has no right to protect others from your thoughts and your speech.